Good morning, good morning, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Morning Garden Show, and Merry Christmas to everyone out there, as well as your families. This is the Morning Garden Show, bringing you the special Christmas edition. And as you saw in the title of this video right here, it says how to beef up your soil. A lot of us, what we tend to do is we get excited about gardening, we get ready to get things put out into the garden, and we forget about little things that really do matter. And these little things are things like allowing the soil to warm up, for instance, getting your soil prepped in the fall for next year. And that way you have the soil situated with enough nutrients in it. You build up your organic matter in the soil, which is basically getting your soil prepped, doing what's got to be done, doing the groundwork. Um, but once you get the numbers up as far as your biology in the soil, you should have a successful season. This is the Morning Gardener show telling you that you need to beef up your soil. And when you beef up your soil, you do a lot better in the long run. Don't take shortcuts. Don't take shortcuts. Deep water your plants once a week if it's a type plant that requires much water. And make certain that you pay attention to your plants. Go out there on a daily basis if you have to and see what's going on in the garden. Don't just leave them out there to do whatever. So I'm gonna hold off for a minute and wait till we get some people in the room, and we'll start back and get into this conversation about beefing up your soil, the morning garden style. Growing giant cabbage. Giant cabbage is one of my favorite vegetables, and this year I hope to be growing giant cabbage. Giant cabbage is fun to grow. I think it's fun to grow to take a plant that you started uh, 8 to 12 weeks before you put them outside. I would have to start my plant indoor because I live in a area where there's a short growing season. So to start them indoors and to get them up to some decent size, and then go out and do what needs to be done. But most important, prepping your soil in the fall before spring comes in. It just works for me. I've done it for years, and it just works. What you do is you just simply add the organic matter to the soil that needs to be done, and also you get your soil tested and see what is needed, and what you may have too much of or too little of, and get the job done the correct way. Because if you try to take shortcuts, that's exactly what you're going to get. You're going to get a garden that, for some reason, you don't get in tomatoes, or you don't get enough tomatoes, or you don't get it. Your carrots don't do well, onions don't do well, And you want to make certain that you make certain that you have what it takes to make your plant happy. Your plant needs to stay happy. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you as well. I appreciate you stopping by. I held off for a while because, I just didn't feel like talking to myself today. But I've been looking into some of my old methods of beefing up your soil, and I always tell people to start their soil prep in the fall because to start it in the spring and not build up your organic matter helps build up your soil biology. And that's what you want to do. You want the biology just raging when you get ready to put, oh, hello, how you doing there, Supreme Family Garden? I've been checking out some of your videos. Um, like I said before, all that land you have a farm. I'm sorry, you have a farm. Um, and I see the land being looked at and say, okay, this is going to be, I'm going to grow whatever over here. This is going to be for fruit. This is going to be for vegetables. I just see that there because it's just, I don't know. I mean, some people don't know how to grow what you grow, and it's definitely a market for it. And you could use a lot of the plants that you already have and propagate them and just do the thing. I got to do the same thing for myself as well. But I'm on a much smaller lot, and the one thing I could grow a lot of, and that is herbs. I grow a lot of herbs because herbs are expensive, and it's a very, very um, uh, good crop to sell to restaurants and to sell to people that happen by. If you set a table up and do it like that, because herbs are expensive in the grocery store, and people would buy from you basil and all kind of thyme and dill and everything. They would buy that stuff from you, and it wouldn't stop coming until you ran out. But it's just a beautiful thing, growing herbs. So I would do herbs in my garden because I have the space for it. and to grow basil and then replenish my own seeds and that sort of thing. Because one thing I love about basil and a lot of the herbs that you grow, they produce their own seeds. So you could build up your seed stock at the same exact time. They keep the seed stock built up and sell the fresh herbs. And imagine this, if you're selling herbs and you put some out there on the table and the person says, I like the way your herbs look really good. So how much do you need? You said, well, I need about a pound, or I need a half a pound, quarter pound. And you go right to the garden or have someone allocated to go right to the garden, snip off some, bring it to them. You can't get any fresher than that. You can't get any fresher. And they will buy it. I know they will buy it. Because all restaurants have one thing in common: fresh quality food, and they put them to buy their supplies at a price they can afford. So that's just something to think about. But building your soil. What do I mean by that? Well, when I build my soil up, when I pack my soil with energy, I simply go out in the fall, all the stuff that grew in on that year, my tomatoes and okra and corn and everything, I leave all that stuff there. I leave it there. Um, the weeds, the grass, mowed down and left there. And when I do that, my plants do extremely well the following year because I'm feeding it just like Mother Nature does. She starts off by dropping all these leaves on the ground in the fall. Then the weeds die back and they die back and hit the ground and slowly become um, food for the biology of the soil, and it returns back in. Um, so to add leaves and to add weeds and grass cut uh, in the area where you're going to be farming it or growing your garden plot, um, it's a win-win because I see my soil go from when I first bought the property some years ago, go from one stage to another. Now the soil is coal black and it's doing extremely well. My soil is very good right now. And this year, I didn't grow a lot because I had like my knee got hurt and that sidelined me. But the weeds that grew there, some of them were like 4 feet tall. And what I did was I just left them. And you go out there now, all of them are laying down because of the rain and a little bit of snow we got so far here in Maryland. When I did that, the when I did that, everything paid off because the biology is going to eat the weeds and the grass, and that's how you do it. Nature will actually take care of itself. You can improve your soil with some of the things you have on your own property. Like I see people with when I look at some of their videos, I see all these little stray trees around on their property that are of no use to them really. And I said, why don't they cut all that down and use it as as mulch? And it will feed. Or like I do with my trees, I take the branches of some trees that are like I call them trash trees because they don't produce anything that I can eat. So what I do is I cut the limbs off and branches off, and I put them around the base of my other trees that I'm going to eat. And the, uh, the branches slowly decay into the ground. Is what they do. It's a wonderful thing. And all I'm doing is moving the resources around. That's all I'm doing. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. It's just the way that nature's been doing it for millions of years, and all I'm doing is imitating nature. When I do my garden, I just imitate nature. I mean, I don't have the neatest looking garden. I don't in any way try to have the neatest looking garden. I just simply make certain that the plants are eating. The microbes, that's what you call, I call it biology, but the microbes, same thing. Um, they are the main reason why you have vegetables or fruit that grows. So why not farm them and bring up their numbers as high as you possibly can by simply creating an environment that they can live in, that they can thrive in. So why would I pretend like that doesn't matter and not bring their numbers up? I try to feed them uh, like you would cattle and make certain that they have all the things they need to do what they need to do. You are saving money by using stuff around your house. I'm saving money by using stuff around my house. Couldn't have said it better. Could not have said it better. I always thought that, felt that, and knew that, but I appreciate you bringing it up. I appreciate you bringing it up because that's exactly what I was saying. The grass clippings, fertilizer. You can even make liquid fertilizer out of it. Uh, the the tree branches that I cut down and cut into manageable pieces, put around the bases of my trees, keeps the soil moist, keeps the soil fed in that location, um, uh, so that the tree that's growing my plums or my cherries have exactly what they need. So we took a tree that was next door between my neighbor and myself, and we cut it, a number of the branches down, big piles of branches. And I asked the neighbor to leave everything on my property, everything, all the little branches, all the little logs, everything, leave it on my property. Took the chainsaw out there, cut them up into manageable pieces, put them all around everything, the grapevines in the yard, the tree roots around the trunk, and about a year and a half later, they were gone. They were gone. When I go out there and cut my fruit trees back, when I cut them back down to 7 feet, 6 feet, from being 22 feet tall, people ask me questions. They say, "How can your dwarf trees, be so tall? They're 21 and 22 feet tall." Well, the reason for that is because they're getting what they need. Nature will balance them out. I thought about doing that because I said if I would go out to my fishing spot, there's a forest out there, and I take some soil from there and bring it into my garden and do that. Now, the only problem with that is that I found what it is that some people will not build their soil up so that those new microbes can survive. There's a reason why those microbes are not there because the environment doesn't is not suitable for them. But you can bring them there if you have your ground set up and nourishment is there for them to be there. Because one thing about Maryland, we have clay soil, and we have clay soil is a very good soil for holding on to nutrients. However, clay soil is difficult to get oxygen down to the roots. It also doesn't drain very well. However, it is a very good soil because if you look at some of the crops that grow here in Maryland, we grow some excellent watermelon. We grow corn. We grow cabbage. We grow a number of different types of fruits. My point being is that if you know what you're doing, you can grow very well in clay soil. But you got to know what you're doing. And a lot of us have clay soil. A lot of us have clay soil. It's a very um, uh, easy soil to wind up with when you're buying a property because it's everywhere almost. Well, on that note, I'm gonna get out of here, folks. But I appreciate you stopping by. I want you to remember to enjoy the rest of your holiday. This is the Morning Garden, and I'm saying definitely keep on growing and enjoying your garden. And remember, the garden is going to take care of you if you take care of it. Just don't Go out there every blue moon. Go out there once a day and look and see what's going on and check your leaves. Because your leaves, a lot of times, a plant, let's see, I hate clay. Laugh out loud, but it is, okay, okay. It's loaded, yes. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you as well. Thank you very much. And remember to keep on growing, ladies and gentlemen. All right.